Hey, what's shaking, guys? With Dancy here. Welcome. We're going to be chatting today with Mr. Menny Lindenfeld. We were talking all about his brand new TRU Xtreme. This is the, I guess, next volume, the next evolution of his amazing TRU project that he put out a little while back. And I've got him right here with me. Menny Lindenfeld, what's up, buddy? How we doing? There you are.
I'm okay. Thank you. How are you?
It's good to have you with us as always. It's good to have you here. I know we were hanging out, in October a few months back. So I guess this is the next best thing, huh?
Yeah, right. Maybe next time in Magic Live,
Yes, I hope so. You were teasing me with that before we started that you might come. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. So welcome. It's good to have you back. As I mentioned, TRU Xtreme is the next step with your magic with rubber bands. You're calling it extreme rubber band magic. Stuff that you can do with this. People have been losing their mind, especially with that slow motion penetration with the rubber band. It looks crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks really,
I'm happy to hear.
Yeah. So tell the people about this. I'm going to throw some pictures up on the screen of some of the artwork you sent over too. But what is this new project, the TRU Xtreme? If people have been living under a rock, what is it? Menny Lindenfeld.
Well, TRU Xtreme is not, I tell you what it's not first. It's not a TRU 2.0. It's something completely new, completely different. The only reason I called it TRU is because, like the first TRU, it's all about rubber band penetration effects. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason it both have the same name. And here I basically took it beyond just the fingers. I created new stuff for the fingers. I wanted to do my goal was to make the ultimate penetration rubber band effect that could like I would want it, like I had it in my mind before I started working on this. This is the way I saw it in my mind, and I said it has to happen. I didn't know how, but it took me very long. Actually, it started before the first TRU. So the first TRU started many years before, and then during the process, this one came up. And then slowly, from one small thing, it grew into a 3-volume release, 1 hour each, which packs a ton of crazy stuff in there.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, and there's some really cool stuff that you could do in here, not just with your own fingers, but you can also do this on your spectators' fingers or have them pull some of the rubber bands. We'll get into some more of the details, but some of the stuff that you can do here looks too good to be true. And the number one question I've been asked, and I'm sure you've been asked the same thing, is, are there gimmicks? And let's start off with that. Is this something that you need to have gimmicks? Is there something special you need to have? Or is this something you can do pretty much on the spot?
You need special fingers, magician's fingers.
So you're selling fingers here. All right.
No, there's no gimmicks here. Everything is 100% impromptu. All you need is one rubber band, your fingers, or some objects, and you can perform this.
Very cool. Just so that the people at home do know, there are rubber bands that have been included from Joe Reinfly. She's got these really, really nice rubber bands they're not special when it comes to being gimmicked, but they're special in a way that they're perfect for what you're teaching here with TRU Xtreme, right?
Yeah, you could actually do this with most rubber bands,
right.
But Joe's rubber bands are perfect in size, perfect in quality and everything. I mean, since the first time I've been using Joe Reinfleisch rubber bands, I never stopped, never looked back. I even find myself, because I have so many of them, using those for like in my office when I need something, because I just don't have any regular rubber bands around anymore.
That's great. Yeah. And that's the best part, guys. So this isn't just with the things that you're given those to help you get started. These are perfect to use, but they're not the ones that you have to use. If you're out somewhere, use some rubber bands. And the other nice thing too is, a lot of the things that you can do with rubber bands, at least one of the things you can also do with headphones. And I know a lot of people have those, which is really convenient too, that some of the stuff will work from a method standpoint with headphones as well, right?
Yeah, actually the first year you also had a version with the headphones. So that's why I kind of wanted to put it in here as well. Sure. It's a different thing. It's a different method. Actually here in TRU Xtreme, I'm using the new methods and use the headset for that. But this is something that because you can do it, I wanted to share this with people,
Yeah, no, I mean, why not, right? It's if it works, it works.
Yeah.
I want to let the guys at home know too, if they're just joining us here, we are talking today all about TRU Xtreme with Menny Lindenfeld. So if you have any questions from Menny, go ahead and post those down below right now. We're here to take those. I'm seeing some come in already. that we can go ahead and start to take here. So the first one we can take, pretty basic question, but let's get it out of the way. Comes in for Pratam. He wants to know, is this difficult to do? So, yeah.
You said yes, it is.
No. I'm saying, yeah. Is it difficult to do? Because I know that it's not, but I'm not going to answer the question.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's actually very easy. It really depends on what types of effects, because I really, like I said, I put so much in there. So some of the effects are very easy. Some of them are moderate, but this is more or less the range. It's not hard. It's definitely not hard.
No.
All you need is a little practice. Once you do that, you're good to go.
Well, practice? What's that? Also, some nice comments coming in. Kyle McIntosh is saying somehow everything Menny makes bends in some way or another. That's funny. I didn't even think of that. With the deformer, aux bender, all that stuff. And now you're doing rubber band stuff, and they do bend too. Right? Stretch and bend. So yeah.
Yeah.
And you're bending people's minds, I guess, technically. So,
yeah. So this is.
It's a reach, but.
Yeah.
Frankie Valley has a question for you, and this is a good one. How long did it take you to develop TRU? So, as you mentioned earlier, and as I did too, the original TRU was released almost a couple years ago now. I can't believe it. It's been out.
I think it was 2 years.
Yeah, it feels
something.
Like 2 years.
Let me see. The time flies so fast.
God, I know.
Actually, yeah, 2 years ago, just 2 years ago.
Man, that's nuts. Now here we are with the next step, the next evolution. How long did it take? I guess let's go back in time then to TRU. How long did that take? And then from there, what kind of timeline did it take to get to TRU Xtreme?
It's a little hard to say exactly, because it actually happened in parallel. TRU, it started TRU, and the first TRU was actually 5 different methods that I've been teaching, where I combined them into a big routine, which took many, many years to develop. Okay. Each method was a different thing that only later it became into like one. I always like it when you work and play with so much stuff, and then at one point everything just somehow connects together like little pieces of Lego, where everything fits perfectly, And then the second TRU Xtreme, the one that I put out now, it also took me many years. I had the concept of this many years ago, and back then it was just something that I didn't really know what to do with it. And then over time, because I was busy with the first TRU, and once I was done with the project, when I released it, I had time to focus on TRU Xtreme. And it basically started like the project itself, not so much the methods that took so long. The project itself started when the last one finished. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
This is a question that I really like, because I know the answer to it, and it's a good way to give you a shout out as well for something else that you do very well, Mr. Menny Lindenfeld. Paul Shirley wants to know, who does your amazing artwork and packaging? I wonder who does that. I have no idea. I wonder who does that stuff.
Yeah, I do all my artwork myself. My profession is a designer. I'm a product and graphic designer. So I design my own products, my own graphics. I even have most of the work on the videos as well, because I'm a perfectionist. So every time I work with somebody, I'm always really mad because it doesn't do it perfect. But it's just in my mind, it's just me,
That's really cool. A man of many talents, as people. You wear a lot of hats, as we say over here. I'm always amazed when I see Menny stuff come in, because it is, it's done by him, but it looks really, really good. For instance, I'm going to show a couple of the pictures here from the artwork you sent in for the TRU Xtreme project. Here's the one where it says the rubber band visibly penetrates the spectator's finger. And there's a nice little thing next to that says new method. So this is something that people saw in the original teaser, Menny. And they absolutely lost their minds when they saw this. I think this was the first teaser, if I'm not mistaken.
It was the first teaser, yeah.
And
right.
People just could not believe it when they saw that. Let's talk a little bit about that, because, yes, you can use the finger. That sounds really funny. Yeah, you can use someone's finger, but you can also do this with other objects, too.
Right.
The penetration happens there. So why don't we talk a little bit about that, because that really does look very fooling. And the part I like about it, too, is when you do the penetration through their finger, the band is left on their finger, and they're now left with this kind of impossible moment of something crazy just happened. Yeah. So why don't we talk a little bit about that, when it comes to the thing where you can do it now, where it happens to someone, and the other things you can do with it, too, like the other objects and things that you suggest. Yeah.
Yeah, what's great about the because okay, let me go a little back. The way I've structured this project is it's 3 volumes, like I said. Okay,
Hmm.
so the first volume, I'm teaching the core principle of how to once you learn this, you can do many of the effects that you see on the trailer, right? And then on the second one is a little adaptation and a new kind of method, but it's similar, but it's not exactly similar.
Hmm.
How to use it with Sharpies and then with objects, which is even different. And then when on the third one is actually using the same method in a very different way. So it's like you could actually know the first method, let's say, and if you wouldn't have seen the last one, the last DVD, the last video, you wouldn't know this the same method. It's not actually the same method. It's just an adaptation and a version of that method, right?
Hmm.
And then I cannot say too much without exposing anything, but basically it opens the door to really crazy stuff you can do with just a single rubber band, you know?
I was just showing them some of the images of the things, the objects, I guess is what I could say. The glasses, you could do
Yeah.
some Borison's glasses, a beer bottle, the neck of the bottle, a wine glass, of course, the Sharpie. Uh, that's what's nice about this too is, sometimes people will see rubber band magic that happens just, maybe around your wrist or through your fingers. But then when you're able to now take this to other objects, I think that really does take things up a notch and makes it feel like it's not just a trick happening to you now. It's not just something that you're
Yeah,
doing
right.
kind of, and you're borrowing these objects too, which makes it feel even more impossible.
Right. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
borrowed object, and it's also cool when you sit in the bar, especially when you have very low lights. Doing it on your fingers, sometimes they don't really see it because your fingers are casting
Sure.
shadows on themselves.
Yeah.
So there you have like a beer bottle or something big, something that you can use, which makes it really great.
Absolutely. I want to say hello to some friends popping in too. Jason Knowles is here. Nice to see him. How we doing out there, Jason? I see Chris Bacchus says excited to see this. I think we all are, man. When I heard that this was coming on the pipe, first of all, I get excited when I know that you're putting stuff out because it's always
Thank you.
because you said yourself you're a perfectionist, and I think sometimes that's a good thing. Could be bad if you just never
It,
let
it is
go.
bad and good. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. It's bad and
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So I know that it's going to be at a certain level at the end of the day, and that's what's
Yeah.
nice about it. And I've seen as well. I'm not going to give any hints of what this is, but I was on a call recently with our team, and I found out we have something else coming out with you in the near future that looks incredible, Menny. It looks so good. The animation on it, and that's as far as I'm going to go.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Man, it
Yeah.
made me
This
smile.
is.
Yeah.
This one I'm actually waiting. I'm waiting so much so
Okay.
it comes out because I started this one 8, 9 years ago maybe,
Wow. Wow.
and I'm already I'm waiting because I want it out already.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's going to be worth the wait for all of us because I've seen this. I actually saw the trailer. Trailer looks great too. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just lost you guys.
Oops. Let me just come back to me for a sec. Let's see if I can get Minnie back on here. I know he was adjusting some stuff over there. So let's see. There he is. All right, cool. All right, let me just come back over here. Bring you back in. There you are. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Aaron says, mine will be here today. Can't wait for the mail. That's always a fun feeling, when stuff, when you, especially with magic, it's there or it's coming today and it's like, oh my God, I can't wait to get this. This is something guys are definitely going to be excited to check out. And as we mentioned earlier to one of our other viewers, this isn't too tough to do. So once you learn how to do it, rubber bands included, you don't have any sitting around, you'll be doing this in no time. Sure. Yeah. Luke has a question. Hello from France. Luke says, oops, let me bring that up here. I have 2 questions. Do the proposed effects work better with some colors of rubber bands? So you mentioned earlier some of the stuff in a low lighting situation, you might not be able to see it too well. Do you suggest using brighter colors, different colors for these effects?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what kind of rubber bands you use. I've provided black rubber bands because they look cool,
Mm-hmm.
But in the end of the day, you can use any color. I think the best is always to use something that is very contrasting to your skin tone. So if you have very pale skin tone, you should use something like darker color and the opposite.
Yes. Okay, cool. It's just adjusting that question there. It was blowing up. It was a big one for me there, so I just adjusted that on the screen. And his second question was, if I do not have fleshy hands, it as well. So I'm not sure what he means by that, but I guess for some of the effects where like the slow motion penetration, doesn't matter if you have windows with your hands. I think that's what he means. You know, if you have skinnier fingers, maybe with not so much with more window space between your fingers.
You know what?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. It's better not. Of course, it's always depends on the effects. Like the slow motion, particularly, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
With some other effects, you should have like you shouldn't flash anything between the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
But it really depends on the effect itself. You know.
Okay. Cool. And speaking of the slow motion penetration, I've got a video clip. This one came in from our friends from Sky Member Presents. They're a great company. One of their guys, I'm going to show up on Instagram. You can see it here, guys. I'm gonna run this back one more time. You can see this, the slow motion penetration right there. It looks so good, dude. Bam. Yeah, and it looks great on the trailer if you guys want to see that as well. The slow motion, man, it looks good. It looks so good, and it's just that moment. You know, a lot of rubber band magic seems to be you have to kind of do things quick. You have to stretch it out. You got to do this. You got to do that. But with this, man, you have it sitting there, and it's just all the tension's right there. It looks great on video too, obviously. Talk about that one. You know, the slow motion penetration. Is that something that you stumbled on? Did you want to do something like that, or how did that
This
happen?
one came along the way during the project because once I was working on it, I was so much into it already, and then all of a sudden I had this idea. Why not do it in slow motion? This is like the ultimate penetration that you could do.
Yeah.
And once I had the idea and I already had the methods that could actually make this happen. For me, it became my favorite. Basically, this is like if you ask me one effect from the entire project, this is the one. This is the one that freaks people out. People scream usually when they see it, and usually the reactions I found when you do this to audiences and spectators, it's a scream, amazement, and disgusting at the same time. They're like, something, because for them it's like it goes through your bones. You know, they can't handle this. You know.
It looks so good, dude. And I know that Jason Knowles says that looks incredible. I know that when I first started putting up the teasers for this, that was the one thing that people kept jumping in was, oh my God, that looks good. That looks great. And everyone swore there had to be gimmicks used here. And that's the best part. Again, 100% impromptu.
Yeah.
This 3-volume teaching set of extreme rubber band magic is all impromptu, which, I mean, good luck finding that anywhere else, you know. Pratam's back with another question. He wants to know, Menny, do you do rubber band magic in your shows? Is this stuff that you reserve for casual situations, or do you actually throw this down in your shows?
Yeah, this is more casual situations. Sometimes when I do close-ups, because on my stage shows, I'm a mentalist and a mind reader, and like the other guy said, I bend stuff. So,
Cool. Let's see here. This is a good question about the instructional part of things. David says, mine came yesterday evening. I have to find the time to watch the videos. 3 volumes. How long are the instructions? Is it segmented so one can watch it in different sessions? So let's talk about the instructional part of this, because you always go above and beyond with your instructions. Talk about how long those instructions are, maybe the different segments that you put together, because it is 3 volumes. How long is this?
3 volumes.
Yeah, how long?
So each volume is approximately one hour, each one.
Yep.
The first one, I think it was like 68 minutes, the second 52 minutes, and the third one 62 minutes, something like that. And the way I've structured this is you don't have to watch everything together. Actually, you don't even have to watch one volume at the same sitting. The way I've always structure my things, I want people to practice, and then progress more and practice more, so that because I always believe when you have too much information, you gain nothing. It's always better to get it in very small segments, and then once you have one thing, you can actually go out, perform, then learn some more, and then combine the things together. And by the way, in every single volume, I also have bonus effects in there, which doesn't have necessarily to do with the routines that I'm teaching. So there's really so much in there. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And, it goes without being said once again, but anything that Menny's ever put out, the instructional part is so well covered. Every little detail is there. As you said, there's also extra ideas and thoughts included in there. Menny never leaves anyone wishing for more stuff, because it is, when he does something, like he said earlier, perfectionist, he does it right. And that goes down to the instructions too. So you'll definitely get more than you bargained for when it comes to instructions. Yeah, it's a good problem. Magic Quinn wants to know, would look cool with glow in the dark UV bands. That's kind of a cool thing. Can you do this? I'm
Oh,
assuming,
you know what? I never tried it. I love the idea.
yeah.
And wow, thanks for that. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, especially you mentioned earlier, if it's like lower lighting or darker lighting. I mean, dude, if you're
Oh,
in
that's
those
perfect for that. Yeah,
casual settings, where the lighting is kind of like that, yeah, throw some of those on and kick their butts with some TRU Xtreme, man. There you go.
exactly.
Yeah. Dig it. All right, yeah. That's why I love doing this stuff too, because you give thoughts and ideas to people, and they do the same.
They throw it back. Yeah,
That's cool. Right?
yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Jason Knowles wants to know, what was your inspiration? You are known for the stare, the Menny Lindenfeld stare, metal bending, minimalism. I know we've talked about this in another interview, but when it comes to rubber band magic, what was the inspiration to get to that? Because it is kind of like different from what you're used to being.
It's
known
very
for.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like most magicians with cards, I think.
Okay.
I mean, most mentalists I know, they will be the most serious mentalist, and then when they sit at home, watch TV, they do the cards, and they have a pack of cards with them. And for me, cards were something that a few years ago I started to. It's not like I just started to do less card tricks, and I started to do more rubber band tricks. For me, it's like the new cards because it's something that's easier to take with you. It doesn't take up a lot of space in your pockets. And you can do so many crazy stuff with it. It's so much more visual,
Yes.
And it's different. People, especially like regular audiences, layman people, they did in their mind a rubber band. What could you possibly do with a rubber band? And now imagine that once they see something amazing, for them it's a bigger moment because once you take out cards, they know, oh, you're a magician. You can do some card tricks. I've seen card tricks before, but how many have seen rubber band tricks before?
No, that's true. It's very, very different from the norm. Very, very different from what people are saying. And as magicians, it's just different for us to see that from you, because it is such a different thing. But I mean, you're back again with more. So obviously, this isn't something you just thought about one time. This is stuff that you think about all the time. Now that you have this new 3-volume set. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, for me, rubber band magic is therapy. Something you can play with fingers.
I like that. And it's like you said earlier, a lot of magicians are known to have like a card, just like their therapy. It's therapeutic to spring cards, shuffle cards, whatever. For you, it's rubber bands. That's cool. Yeah. Very cool. This is a good question, actually. And this is a great one because it's something that I've also heard a lot from people. And that is, Daniel Ricks wants to know, do I need both TRU and TRU Xtreme to perform the original TRU? So I guess when it comes to let's just talk about the differences and if there are any similarities or if you need one or the other. Let's kind of put all that together. So what are the differences first between TRU and TRU?
Well, it's two different things. Like I could as well call the new one any other name. It really doesn't have anything to do with the first TRU. So if you have the first TRU, you can do this first TRU. If you have the second TRU, the TRU Xtreme, you don't have to have the first TRU because you learn different things. If you want to learn everything, of course you will need to, but really it has nothing to do with each other. And in fact, the only similar thing, which is not even similar that much, I've put into the TRU Xtreme, I've put one rubber band finger-to-finger jump, where it jumps from one finger to the second finger. But I did it as a homage for my first TRU, but it's a new and much improved version, very open and very clean. It's actually in the trailer as well.
Oh, cool. All right. Very good to know. All right. Maximilio says that was my question. We're not, let us know, Max, if you have any other questions as well, because I know you said that you had some of the same questions here. What's the recommended band size? Frankie Valley, let's get into specifics now. What is the recommended band size for TRU or TRU Xtreme?
Well, I'm providing the Joe Rindfleisch rubber bands with the packages because I feel these are the rubber bands you should use. They are the best ones out there. And that's why I'm like with all my products, I always like to provide everything you need so that once you open the box, you start learning. You don't have to run around other stores and buy stuff around. You have everything you need in there. And the size that you will need is the number 19. These are the Joe Rindfleisch are the number 19 rubber bands.
Okay, Cool. Good to know. Good to know. This is a good question coming in from Jason Knowles. And again, if you guys have questions out there too, feel free to go ahead and throw those down. We're taking them and trying to get as much from Menny as we can about his brand new release, TRU Xtreme. Jason wants to know, how do you introduce your Rubberband magic to spectators? Do you open as a magician? So yeah, when it comes to this stuff, you mentioned yourself. This is something that's different for you, but I guess in general, if you were going to do some Rubberband magic, how would you kind of segue into that, or how would you kind of introduce it into your performance?
I actually had just came back before the interview from a close-up show I did, and I did some Rubberband magic as well in there. And I just, between the stuff, I just take out the Rubberband because I usually have them on my wrist. And I have noticed that once you take them out, the first thing that people look at, are you going to show me like a stupid trick with the Rubberband? And then when they see something crazy with that, that's why the reactions are so much better, because they start this way. And then when they see it, it goes up a much higher peak,
Got it.
So it's really just like with any other magic trick, you just come out with it and start doing something with it,
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Hoat says he says he loved TRU, can't wait for TRU Xtreme. And I will say, when we put up that original teaser on Facebook 2-3 weeks ago, over the weekend, people were just losing their minds, dude. Yeah, when they saw that slow motion, penetration through the fingers, it looks so good. So, yeah. Let's see. This is a good question. Nigel Quinn wants to know, are there any mini Facebook groups for his effects? We've talked to some people the last few weeks. Mark Lavelle started one for the Skynet project. We talked to, who else? Zhao, Zhao Miranda's got his Facebook group. Are there some groups, or is there a group for your stuff? Because I know people these days, they like to collaborate.
Actually, there's lots, and it's probably time for me to do that, So it's a good, thank you so much for reminding me to actually do this, because it's something I've heard it before. People want to, connect more, and I think nowadays it's important, So I'll definitely do that,
Cool. All right. Well, then we'll definitely keep our eyes peeled, and when that does happen, we will definitely let you guys know too, because that's what we do. We connect you guys together, try to help you out, and when stuff like that happens, we try to make sure that you know what's going on. So, all right. Pratam has a question for you. I'll put you on the spot here, Menny Lindenfeld. He wants to know, did you fool Dan Harlan with TRU Xtreme? I know he's the guy that's been around the block with Rubberband magic. The question is, though, did you fool Dan Harlan?
Yeah, actually, after I met you, I went to Penguin to do a lecture there, and I met Dan. That's when I have showed him TRU Xtreme, and I fooled him with this. He loved it. And he actually gave me a great quote for this as well.
Heck yeah, I knew about that. I definitely knew all about that. And that's, when you get someone like Dan Harlan throw down quotes, that kind of says a lot, because he's been around the block and knows.
He's one of the king. Him and Joe, they both are the kings of Rubberband magic.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and you got quotes from Joe too. I'll have to find that while you're chatting. Let's see. This is a good question too. Another one coming in. We've got a lot of good questions today. Thanks, guys. How many bands does it come with in the package? As we mentioned before, the TRU Xtreme does come with some bands. They're not trick bands, but they are there to help you get started. How many do come in the package there?
It comes with 20 black rubber bands. It's called, I think, the Dan House Black Rubber Bands by John Rindfleisch.
Okay, very cool. Those should last you a while, unless you really want to get extreme with your Rubberband magic and you just really want to stretch them out way too far.
Actually, those rubber bands, what's great about them, they never tear. It's crazy. Like, I've been using those rubber bands for so long, and maybe once it torn, but not during a performance. You will know way ahead when it's going to happen. So
nice. All right. Cool. Yeah, and that's another good thing here then. All right. Not that you're going to have to worry about that, because you can use your own rubber bands, but yeah, the ones that are included made the last too. All right. You just got everything covered, don't you, Menny? Yeah, all covered. Yeah. Let's see. Just jumping back up to see if there were any other questions here. Here we go. Little off topic here, a little bit. Can you talk about your creative process? Do you develop your projects thinking about specific media? Do you think more on Instagram or live? So let's go back to that. When you create, do you create for a specific medium, or do you create just for idea's sake? You have a cool idea and you want to have that happen.
Yeah. I always do it just because if I have a good idea and the way I want this effect to look like, and that's what I'm aiming to. It has nothing to do with media, TV, or anything. I just, want to, when I create for the creation and not for a specific media.
Okay. And what about and I know that we've talked about this too, and we're not going to stick too long on this. Can you briefly sum up what your creative process is like? Because everyone has a different way of doing it, and people definitely are interested to hear more about those type of things,
Well, it starts, like I said, with an idea.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how crazy the idea is. I think that the more crazy it is, the better chance that you'll get something crazy out of it. But like always, it starts with an idea. It could be something you see on TV and you get some kind of inspiration from this, or it could be just something that pops into your mind. And once you have the idea, you start searching for the methods, basically. And you explore, you try. It's very hard to say it in 2 seconds. I have an entire lecture just on this one. So, but mainly one thing that I do, which I can say, is something I call the onion peel. So let's say you got to that point where you think you're there. Mm-hmm. That's time where you peel the layers from the onion and try to keep everything as narrow as possible. So you have the effect, working in a very direct way, so that you can actually focus on presentation and not so much about about the moves that you have to do. Because one of the things I always find when you have to think about too much about the moves when you perform something, that takes away from your presentation. So this is in one little,
Cool. I like that. What'd you call that? The onion peel?
The onion peel, yeah.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah.
So you have this and you take off the layers, and until you have the core thing, which you still, by the way, the core thing still has to make this beautiful effect, and you never give up on the quality of the effect. The idea is to focus it, to make it happen with that little core,
Very cool. I think it's the first time I've heard anyone, use that analogy with creating, but it makes a lot of sense. I really dig that. That's cool.
Thank you.
Speaking of creating, John Czar would like to know, it's good to see you, John. How many years have you created magic? So let's just go back in time here. How long have you been doing this?
For years, 20 years maybe. More. I don't know. The second I started creating, it basically happened at the same time.
Wow, that's cool. And it's crazy because he's only 25. No, I'm just kidding.
That's an effect that I have to actually work on that. Maybe I can do that, like a time machine.
Dude.
Bring it back and just keep the experience that you have now, but younger.
Bring it on, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I could do that, I would go back in time right now to when it was me, you, and Titanus hanging out in Las Vegas. That was some good times, man.
At the Four Queens, man. We talked about it just a moment before.
Sure did. Yeah, we did, man. I'll definitely be taking you back there if you get out here for the.
Thank you.
It'll be good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Kevin Tonish has a question, and nice to see you, Kevin. Kevin was one of our winners of a contest we did a while back. So it's nice to see Kevin back around here. Kevin says, besides TRU, what are your favorite rubber band tricks? Do you have some other favorites, or is it just stuff that?
Oh yeah, I will say everything Joe Rindfleisch does. I mean, I have everything he puts out. I buy. It's so good. You have to, if you don't, just get it. I'm recommending every little thing, everything that he makes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, the Dan Harlan Rubberband Shark. I think it was the name. All the DVDs he put out so many years ago, which is definitely, you have to definitely watch this.
Yeah, absolutely. Two giants.
Oh yeah,
industry, for sure. I don't know how Joe does some of that stuff. I don't know. He's like a machine. That dude. It's crazy. I don't get it. Yeah. This is a good question, specific to TRU. He wants to know, what are the angles like, TRU Xtreme, what are the angles like, and are there any awkward moves? So let's talk about angles with TRU Xtreme. Are they good? Are they bad? You have to worry about it?
Actually, most, I wouldn't say 100%, but most of the effects that I'm teaching there, I'm teaching I don't even know how many effects in there. So most of them are 100% 360-degree angle proof. As long as nobody's watching you from like underneath, up there,
Yeah.
you're good to go, like with any other magic. But some of the effects, but only very few, you have to do like certain angles. But the rest of them are the slow motion one, the spectator one, all the good stuff. It's 100% impromptu, 100% surrounds, 360 angle proof.
All right, good to know. I'm going to ask the second part of his question. He also wanted to know, are there any kind of awkward moves? Because sometimes, let's be honest, with rubber band magic, getting into some of the stuff, some of the tricks out there, not saying that you've come up with, but some of the ones out there, there is some weird kind of like stretching and, all this stuff. Are there some things, and I'm sure they're well covered, if I was going to say that. Are there any kind of awkward moves people would need to be worried about, or do you think it's all well covered, which I'm sure it is?
Yeah, everything was, of course, well covered, and I wouldn't say any weird thing, because what I love about the way I do rubber band magic is I want it to look like very fair. Like you have a rubber band, boom, it's on, and like nothing weird. Of course, there's there's a special hookup behind it and everything, but it's not weird. Actually, the hookup takes, after you practice, 1 second, and you're in there, in front of the spectator, right in front of the eyes.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
And by the way, you don't need any rubber bands on your wrist, so you can be like short sleeves, just one rubber band. That's all you need.
That was going to be my next question, because that's definitely something you see. It's like, the guy that's just got them all up and down his arm. It's like, all right, you must like rubber bands a little bit, yeah. Paul Shirley has a question. This is all said in jest, but why not? Paul wants to know, will this help me meet girls?
Paul, how are you, man? You should come to Magic Live. I know Paul. He's a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Paul, it's good to see you here. And yeah, I don't think you need rubber band magic for picking girls, man. You're good looking. You play music. That's all you need.
Oh, he's a musician too. Then he's definitely.
Oh yeah, he's a good one. He's a good musician. A very good one.
All right. And yes, to everyone out there watching, I want to put this officially as the plug. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. TRU Xtreme. Buy it now. It'll help you meet girls. There you go. I said it, not you, so you're safe. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Let's see. A lot of questions coming in. Adam has another one. Have the original method, and is TRU Xtreme the same method? I know we talked about this earlier. Adam, it is not. I don't know if you want to, go any further with that, but this is the different method, different effects than the original TRU. Yeah. Speaking of where you're going to be, I know you're tiptoeing around, maybe coming to Magic Live. Nigel wants to know, will you be at the session or at Blackpool? Uri Geller will be at the next Blackpool. I know you guys are buddies, so maybe any chance of you popping up at Blackpool?
I'm actually thinking about Blackpool, but I've been in Blackpool before. I've never been in Magic Live, so for me, Magic Live first, maybe Blackpool later.
Dude, I like the way you think. Bring it on. I win either way, because I'll be at both. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see. Nigel also wants to know, any mini mentalism book. So, a lot of people put together their works in a bound edition, in a lovely bound edition. Do you have any thoughts or plans on maybe one day, or maybe you're doing it now, putting together a book, maybe as a summary of your work or what you've done up to this point?
Actually, it's something that I've been thinking about for a while. It's going to happen one day,
okay.
I hope.
Cool.
But it's funny that he says book. I can't say too much, but one of my next releases, I don't know if it's the next one or the next after, is going to be a book, but it's not going to be a regular book. Something very, very completely different, crazy. I think I've shown it to you. I'm not sure. Did I?
You have to remind me after this. You have to
Yeah. I can't say it's live, so I don't want to say too much.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's cool. So yes, he's got some thoughts about books and a release with a book. So there we go. All right. Good to know. Let's see. Oh, Paul's ragged on. He says, "Ha ha ha! Easy hookup. Get it? Because
Yeah.
That's funny." What's up, Jace? Jace Pat, what's going on out there? Pratam has a question because you are a mentalist. You're one of the best. Pratam wants to know, do you use any electronic impression devices? I know it's really random, but a lot of people these days are using electronics with their mentalism. Do you like that or do you not like that? You shy away from it?
Okay. I do like it.
Okay.
There are very amazing, some amazing out there. I personally never used one because I personally I'm trying to avoid electronics as much as possible because, it could always break on you, like when you need it, unless of course it's a good product. It shouldn't break on you, but just for me, it's like something that I'm always trying to go to the manual type of methods.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean,
I'm actually, I used to come, sorry, I actually had a product that came out a few years ago called the X-Board, which is an impression device hidden in a regular A4 clipboard, and it was not electronic. It's not on the market anymore. It's sold out many years ago, but.
Perhaps we should bring that back, Menny Lindenfeld. Perhaps.
Maybe.
Yes. The people want more Menny Lindenfeld stuff. That's all I can tell you. I know they do.
Thank you.
I was going to pop over to the Magic Cafe too, and just for myself, I was going to look around to see if there were any questions that I may have missed here when it comes to this one. Have you seen anything out there that you want people to know about? Maybe something that people are talking about that you want to, make them know this is not the way that works, or this is not true, or
Actually, I have one question that I've seen there.
Okay.
Let me open it for a moment.
I mean, the Magic Cafe, you never know what's going to happen there, but
Yeah, right.
Someone says the penetrating effect is the cleanest I've seen. Very visual. Here's a question. The bottle and the glass effects, where you're doing a link onto other things. Are those things you can do with people surrounding you? Can you do that 360 surrounded?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that, there's one guy asking about the fork specifically. That's the one I was looking for. Somebody named Mark Hitton says, any review, is the fork penetration really 360 surrounded? So the answer is it is 100% 360 degrees surrounded, so it's no problem.
Okay. Let's see. Just looking through the rest of the cafe here. There's a lot of great magic out there, but this looks impossible. Yeah, I mean, this is something that definitely jumps out. And again, just joining us, this is totally impromptu stuff. People see it and swear, oh, there must be a clever gimmick, or there must be something going on here. No, you can do this with borrowed bands, or some of it also works with headphones. So there you go.
Right.
Let's see. Let's take another peek here. And people were talking about getting bands again. Here's another question from Kenson. Interesting question. Maybe one day this will happen, but this just came out, so we'll see. Do you ever think that one day you might offer a combo of both TRU and TRU Xtreme as like a bundle?
Maybe Monday. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see what happens. All right. Let's see. When do you do bend routines on stage, like the saw routine? And by the way, you did kick some serious ass on Penn and Teller Foolish. I want to say that.
Thank you.
Are these going to be taught anytime soon? I want to be a good bender. So let's talk about your bending work. I know that you went over quite a bit of it in your at the table lecture. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. I did on the at the table. I did it. I did actually a project with Penguin. I did with TRU 11 as well, and we probably should do something with Murphy's as well.
Let's do it. Do you have any general tips then? Excuse me, for someone that's looking to do bending, whether it be using the ox bender, the world's best and first one-handed coin bender, or
it's the one right here.
The deformer.
I always have it right next to me.
The ox bender. Do you have deformer next to you there too? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Deformer is
I've got mine up here
right there.
When it comes to any of these bends, do you have any general advice for people that do bending? Maybe it's the way to not present it, but the way to sell it. You know what I mean? As a mentalist.
Yeah. I think the secret is forget about the method, forget about what you do behind the scenes. I think that the best way is sit for a while, think for yourself. What if I actually had supernatural powers and I could take a fork and bend it just like they did it in a Matrix movie where the kid held that spoon and it just went sideways, right? Yeah. So imagine that, like you sit in front of a video camera and just pretend like you are bending something that doesn't really bend. If you have the self-bending fork by Yuval Karen that came out many years ago, there you don't have to do anything. Just basically just stare at it. So it's just playing or acting, because you need to act the right way. If you do act it the right way, everybody's going to believe it's real. Mm-hmm. If you look at Uri Geller's work, this guy is amazing, and just learn Uri Geller. That's the best way to actually do that, Because the methods, because us magicians, we always think about the method. And I think that's the thing that actually, it disturbs sometimes our actual performance because it's in here because you know the secret. But don't forget that the audiences, they never know the secret. So why do you need to be worried about the secrets? Just worry about the presentation.
Right on. Yeah, well said. And thanks for sharing those tips. I know that's, I like to call that the real work. That's it's not methods. That's the real work. That's how you really make magic look like magic or mentalism.
Right.
Back to this question, the second part though, the things that you did do on Penn and Teller Fools. If you guys haven't watched this performance, we actually have a video that I put up a little while ago. It's on our YouTube channel. Me watching Menny's performance, and I think I also watched Christian Ingblom. So it's our favorite fullest performers. You did a few different bends on there. Any of those, you going to maybe tip any of those, or have you already done that I'm not aware of?
Okay, let me give you a little secret. The coin bend, the first one in her hand, was the ox bender. I was using the ox bender for this, right in front of her eyes and in front of live TV.
Yep.
That's the intention of Oxbender. Make it live, make it happen live.
Yep, that is definitely good. What about that saw? What about that saw?
Well, the saw, it's still a secret.
All right.
It's gonna come. It's one of my plans for the future.
All right.
And it's not out yet, but it's gonna happen.
What
I don't
about
know exactly when, but
the glasses?
The glasses, for now, it stays here. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. All right. But again, you guys should definitely watch him. And as he mentioned, Oxbender in action, you'll see it, and you'll see just how well it just plays. The thing plays so well. It all happens in real time. It looks so good. So good.
Thank you.
Kinson also says, congrats on all the new releases. Love all your effects. So some love out there from Kinson. All right. Let's go back and
I see Paul is writing again about how did he do the knife through hand, and what he means by that, the spike effect.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but I have a scar right here and a scar right here when I did this a few years ago, 2000.
Can you show that one more time? I was trying to get to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Can you see it? Yes, I don't know if you can see it, and it went out from the other side when I did the trick, and I missed, and I messed up. The knife went through my hand. I had to go to the hospital. I couldn't move my fingers, by the way. They had to undergo operations and physiotherapy for 6 months. And by the way, magic saved my hand, because when I couldn't move my fingers, I actually started learning cards from point zero again, because I couldn't do anything with this hand. And it actually helped me gain all the movement back just the way it was before.
Dude, that's crazy. I knew the part about you hurting yourself, but I didn't realize magic had really kind of helped this therapeutic thing. That's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Oh, so Paul said, so there's no method. He's keeping that one to himself. Yeah, that's oh my gosh. Kevin has a question. Going back to the first TRU, he says that when he does it, people seem to miss the first jump. What do you say to the audience so they know what to look for? Might as well ask the developer himself. So let's talk about Rubberband Magic in general, and with TRU and TRU Xtreme. It does happen. Some of that happens quick. The jumping to different fingers and stuff. Is there a way that you found? I know it comes down to presentation, but have you found a way to get the attention so that people are not missing those moments when it comes to Rubberband Magic in particular?
Well, if you see even the TRU Xtreme, when I do it to the audience, the real audience, especially when I do the two girls where I do the slow motion move, I'm actually saying, look, I'm going to be very fair. I'm going to put it through one finger, second finger. So it's a very slow process. It's not like rushing into the effect, I want them to be focused on exactly that everything is cool and attention is already here, and only then the magic actually happens, when the attention is 100% where I want it to be.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, get that moment. Let them know that moment is about to come.
Yeah.
Pratam wants to know, are TV rights included with the product? So I know with the bending devices, Oxbender and Deformer in particular, there's really no rights included, because that's not a trick. That's a device that you're using for a trick. But stuff like this, like that slow motion, I could see someone doing that on TV. are they able to? If someone wants to do like the slow-mo
Well, if
penetration?
somebody wants to do it, just contact me. I usually just give permission. I just want people to notify me first, and
That's
that's
cool.
all. You know.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure you would also like to see the footage too. So,
Yeah, exactly. I want to know, and right.
kind of goes both ways. So there you go. Yeah, just give them a heads up. I think that goes for anybody, to be honest with you. Any trick that you're going to buy, most people, unless it says it directly on the packaging or in that copy, most guys or gals are pretty cool about it. But as a creator myself, I would like to know, and maybe there's some
Yeah.
tips. Maybe you've got some tips for someone to do it in a TV situation that maybe they wouldn't even think of. So, you never know. So it's a very good question for sure. And again, guys, if you're just joining us, we're trying to kind of wrap things up here. I'm almost at the hour mark with Menny, so I don't want to keep him too much longer. But we are here today talking about TRU Xtreme. This is officially available out there worldwide from those magic shops. So hit up your favorite one. This is as you can see here, a 3-volume. I don't like to call it a set, Menny. I like to call this like a 3-volume, like a masterpiece. Just a really, really fun, and as you like to say, extreme rubber band penetrations. Not only can you do this in your own hands, as you see here, I'm showing the picture, Menny, of the finger. The penetration happens on someone's finger. Very, very cool moment. And then also, as you mentioned earlier too, you can do this on other objects. You can borrow these objects, glasses, beer bottle, wine glass, or even a magician's best friend, a Sharpie.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, there's some really fun stuff here. A 3-volume set, very extreme stuff. But again, impromptu. That's like the word of the day, Yeah.
By the way, what you see in the trailer is not everything that's on the videos that I'm teaching. There's so much more.
Cool.
I just couldn't put too much into the video, into the trailer.
Cool. That's good to know.
There's one effect where I do a true rubber band with 2 different contrasting colors in a very cool way. Also using the TRU Xtreme methods and
Cool.
many, many other things.
Sweet. All right. That's good to know. Yeah, because sometimes people think, oh, that's all it is. No. And I'm not surprised either, because you always over-deliver. You always give people more than they expect. Another quick question here, since we're trying to wrap things up here. Daniel Ricks wants to know, I want to make sure I have this correct. After the penetration onto a wine glass, we were just talking about doing this on other objects, onto the wine glass stem, can they examine everything right then? So let's say you do the trick, goes onto the stem. If you want to hand them that glass with the stem.
You can hand them, you can give them the glass. It's a borrowed glass. The rubber band can stay as a souvenir for them as well.
Very cool. And Kyle also sums this up very well. He says, this is a rubber band master class. I wish I thought of that myself. That's true. This is a master class rubber band master.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, right.
Adam's going out online here, and I'll go with him here, Menny. I know it's late where you are. What time is it where you are, by the way?
It's now 11 o'clock at night, but it's okay. I'm a night person.
Okay.
I'm going to go to sleep probably like 5 o'clock in the morning anyway. So.
Oh, well, then we'll keep you a little bit. No, I'm kidding. Adam wants to know, I know it's 11 o'clock. Can you show us live on here, Menny? Anything you can show us live? And let me go back to your camera before, if you are going to do something.
All right.
Putting you on the spot.
Can
here.
you?
So,
I have a black shirt, so let's do this in a.
Let me just go back to you. And thank you.
Is that better?
That looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it white? Let's see which one is better, because I see my picture very small. Which one is better, the white or on the camera? Because I see a very small image of myself.
Let's see what the guys say out there. I think honestly, they both look good. We'll put it that way. They both.
Yeah. All
look
right.
good.
All right.
Cool.
All right. So I'm gonna do. Can you see this? Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Maybe come up just a little bit. Maybe bring your hand up just a little bit higher.
Here.
Yeah, and you can go back a little bit. Yeah, you can move back if you don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Because my camera's in an angle, so it's a little hard. So I'm just gonna put it over these 2 fingers.
Maybe bring your hand up. Yeah, there you go. Cool.
Okay, better?
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm going to do the slow motion one. So just go right there and it goes right through.
Oh, dude, that is so good. Oh, that is so good.
Thank you.
And everyone's saying white is better, so I'm glad you use white. Dude, that's the moment. That is the moment everyone's been talking about. That slow motion. Oh, it looks so cool. And
yeah, I personally love it. I love this slow motion one. It's like, for me, it's like I'm laughing when I do it and do it for so many months, and I always keep laughing when I do it,
It's awesome, dude. And thanks for doing that. Thanks for, put you on the spot there. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And this is one too. If you wanted them, they could pull the band if they wanted to, right? They could.
Yeah. You can let them hold it and just pull the band if they want to.
That's cool. And a few other things on here, they can do that. It's not just you having to do that. People can do this on a couple ones, like for the the band, goes to different fingers. And people are going nuts over here, by the way, watching you do that. So yeah, appreciate you taking the time to show that there. So yeah. Any last thoughts about TRU Xtreme? This is something that I know that people, when they get, and it's also, to me, it's very underpriced for what it is. It's $35, but you're getting this complete course, impromptu, magic, rubber bands, throw one on your wrist, throw a couple on your wrist, put them in your pocket if you don't want to wear them on your wrist. I think for what you're getting here, and the fact that it's all impromptu, I think that you guys, it's always good to have, don't you think, Menny, to have these techniques, these principles that you could do with you at any time. Because as a magician, you should never be the guy that says, someone goes, "Oh, you're a magician, show me something." "Oh, well, I don't have anything with me." Like, dude, that sucks. Let's be honest, that sucks. That's not cool, right?
Yeah, you should always have something. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just like with finger magic where when you don't have nothing and you just go like this and you just go, just put it back,
Yeah. That's exactly the whole thing. And it doesn't matter if you're a mentalist, if you're a close-up guy, or whatever. I mean, have something that you can always do at the spur of the moment. And this definitely fits that bill, for sure. So, yeah. Let's get one more question in because I haven't gotten any of these from Dylan, and then we'll wrap it up. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Dylan wants to know, when performing, are you doing the new tricks alongside the other ones from previous releases? So let's talk about getting new material.
Sorry, can you ask me again? I didn't hear you.
Yeah. So he wants to know, when performing, are you doing the new tricks alongside the other ones from previous releases? So in general, when you're working new material in, do you just do new material to test it, or do you?
Oh, it's really like what I feel at that moment. I mean,
okay.
If I like something, I'm going to use it forever. But sometimes if I have something new and you don't have too much time, if you perform for a certain amount of time, you need to decide what you want to do. But it's really, if I need to practice something new, I will practice something new. If I want, I mix it with some other,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's one thing people always curious about when they're performing. They want to know when should they start performing new material, because they're not sure when the right time is.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you could like we all do practice with family.
Yeah.
But here's the problem: they hate you.
Jesus, man! All right.
Not another trick, man. Just don't show me another trick. Yeah. That's the way it goes, So for a real audience, it's the best way to practice,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You just got to do it. As Nike says, just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm going to let you run, my friend. Thank you so much for spending some time telling us all about your brand new release, answering those questions that people had. This is going to be up as a replay. Also go up on our YouTube channel, so everyone that wants to know more. Hopefully we squeezed everything in here. Do you think we got pretty much everything that you want people to know?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. It's and this is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. There's a 3-volume set here, jam-packed full of stuff. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, check it out. You can't go wrong with Mr. Menny Lindenfeld and his stuff. And as he told us earlier, he's got some more stuff coming down the pipe too. So, and I like this because you're not just the guy that puts stuff out just to put it out. You space it out because you're working on stuff.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
That's the way that
the way I look at it, if I put something out, I need to know that if somebody would put it out for me, I would still buy it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. And it's got your name on it. And that means a lot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly.
Especially as a perfectionist, which you are in every sense of the word. So. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right. And when you do end up, putting up a group or two for your magic stuff, let me know, and we'll definitely.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay,
cool. Sounds great.
All right, Menny.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, and thank you guys for asking questions and for your compliments and everything. You are the reason I'm keeping and continuing creating. So thank you.
And everyone out there, if you want Menny Lindenfeld to come to Magic Life, post it below. Tell him to come because I think that might help convince him to get out here to Las Vegas. Yeah. I want him here because we're going to go hang out at the Four Queens. That's what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Horse racing, baby. Horse racing. If you guys don't know, you don't know. All right, cool. All right, Menny, I'll catch you later, buddy.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.